Okay. Congratulations, my goodness. You outdid yourself in this film.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. By far the most ambitious Harry Potter film so far. Were you a little bit nervous taking him on for this chapter of his life?
I was more sort of excited about it than nervous. I mean, there's always sort of nerves about doing... I suppose you get nervous about specific scenes. Like, I was nervous about the Voldemort one and about taking Cedric's body back and that stuff. Because that stuff's more challenging than I've ever had to do before. So that was quite... I was quite nervous about that, but I was particularly nervous about actually seeing the film. Because I had no idea what it's going to look like. Because all you see, sort of before you actually see the film complete, all you see is in ADR, which is dubbing, so you know, and you see bits of the film and it's all in a rough cut, and there were a couple of things in there which I was going, oh, I don't know what that's going to look like when it goes, and it's like, I don't, and you always sort of get quite nervous. But when I went to see it, I was so happy about it, and it actually makes these 4 sort of Junket days so great, because I don't have to sit here and sort of pretend to like the film, because, you know, it makes it a pleasure to talk about, you know, so it was absolutely fantastic, and I was really happy with it.
Okay, well, he goes, okay, let's first talk about the physical part of this film, because he gets banged around a lot.
He certainly does.
What was the most challenging for you then?
The most sort of physically challenging was the underwater stuff and all the diving, because I trained for about sort of 6 months beforehand. So by the time I got in there, I was quite well prepared for it and things, which was great. But I did they gave me a logbook at the end of the diving period, and I had done 41 hours, 23 minutes underwater, and I'd gone through 2 ear infections in 4 weeks. So I'm very, very proud of myself. But it looks great in the film, and it was really, what was great about it is when you're underwater, it's very quiet, and which is very unusual for a film set, because normally it's noise everywhere all the time, and so it's great when you're underwater. It's very, very quiet. So that was actually the most, and you get very tired after those days because it's quite challenging physically. But the most terrifying thing by far was the dragon thing, because when I was flying about on the broomstick, that was all fine, because that was sort of a bit like Quidditch, really, because you're on a blue screen, so and on the broom. But when I had to do the sliding down the roof thing, they said to me, Dan, we built a model roof for you to slide down. When I say model, what do you think? It was 60 feet. Now, to me, that's not a model, that's an actual roof. And so they had me sort of at the top of it on a wire, and they just sort of let me go. And I was terrified. And it was just... And I had this amazing stunt team behind me all the time, both in the underwater and on the roof thing. So you always feel safe, but you also feel terrified, because it's that thing of in a way, what's quite good is that you go down so fast that you haven't actually, your brain hasn't got time to catch up with your body and think, oh, I'm falling. So you just sort of go, and then you're at the bottom, and you're safe.
Now, I would think the most scary for you would be the teenage angst stuff. I mean, come on, going through all that physical stuff, but the dancing scene, the girlfriend scene, come on, confess here.
The dancing, you see, my parents were both fantastic competition-winning dancers. The genes, however, have skipped a generation. I am not blessed with the dance. I was sort of, no, I mean, I will point out a few things to try and excuse myself of my shabby performance, which was that, first of all, everyone else had 3 weeks rehearsal and I'd only had 2 days, because I've been doing another scene. So that's what I attribute my failure to. And also, it was really fun to do, actually, because we had the girl who I was dancing with is a girl called Shafali, and she's fantastic and mad and brilliant. And because she's supposed to be Padma's sister in it, she's Parvati, and Padma, the girl who plays Padma, is Afshan, she's one of my best friends, but she's much taller than Shafali. So Shafali had to dance to try and make her the same height in platforms about that big. And that's hard, because, you know, it's a fast waltz. They gave us it was a fantastic dance. I mean, aesthetically it looks brilliant when you actually do it. But it was like this crazy waltz thing. It was very fast and different, and lifts, and it was very tough. But it was good fun, all that stuff.
Now, tell me, in your opinion, how Harry has evolved from the first 3 films into this one, because this is a major transition.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of, in a way, it's a subtler transition than it was from second to third. But I think actually when you sort of look at the details in what he's doing and how he is, how he's being with people, it's a massive change, because it's not, from the second to third he got angrier. But now, in the fourth one, he's sort of a lot more vulnerable and for parts of it. And by the end, he sort of come to the realisation, which is hard for anyone to come to this realisation, and luckily not everyone has to, but particularly for Harry, because, you know, with Dumbledore, he sees in this one that Sirius is so far away from him that it's almost impossible to communicate with him. There's that one scene, and that's the only communication they can manage. With Dumbledore, he now recognises that he's actually quite a frail old man who's not anymore at the height of his powers, and so he starts to think, he sort of realises that if he is going to make it, he's going to make it alone, as of this point on, because he's got Ron and Hermione there, but even those relationships are not as they're not as united as they have been in the past. Obviously, there's the fallout with Ron, which is great actually in the film. I think it's really, really good. But so I think the thing that he sort of realises, I think he becomes incredibly lonely in this film, more than he actually has been before. Whereas in the third, he was angry and he missed his parents. He's now sort of, but he still had his friends and people. Whereas now he just doesn't have that. He doesn't feel he's as secure in his surroundings anymore.
You must be obviously so comfortable with, with Rupert and with Emma. I mean, I can't imagine that it's just not a family between you three.
No, I mean, the thing is, it's like, if we've been together for 5 years now, and if you spend 5 years in really close confines with other people, you either become really close or you kill each other. And we're all still breathing, so we have become very, very close. Yeah, I mean, it is like a family thing, really, I suppose, but not just with me, Rupert and Emma, with the whole crew and all of the cast. It's almost like, I mean, I suppose in a way it's sort of similar to that kind of theatre thing of having a company doing plays and always the same actors doing it. I mean, it's a similar sort of thing. I mean, there are obviously alterations each time. Certain crew members sort of come and maybe some go, but generally speaking, it is like a sort of a family.
Why do you think people stick with this? You know, you have people who have read these these books when they were 10 and 11 and seeing the films, and now they're turning to teenagers, as you guys are. What is it? What keeps everybody hanging on?
I think it's partly because it is quite an escapist thing, the magic. But I mean, in this one, that doesn't apply so much because it shows you what evil things magic can lead to. So I mean, the simple answer is I don't know. I think they're just great stories, and the characters are all very appealing. And there is a character. In every story, there's a character that someone will latch onto and will be their favourite character. And as each character grows in the story or changes in some way, I think people want to see how their favourite characters have moved on.
Well, we can't wait for the next one. You must be excited for it.
Very excited. Can't wait. We start filming in February.
Well, good stuff, and keep them coming. I mean, you're just fantastic in this movie.
Thank you very, very much.
Pat yourself on the back. You did a great job.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. Best of luck, and my kids are like psyched.